Tim Baynes. I'm from Australia's National Research Agency, CSIRO. I've been working on looking at material resource requirements, energy requirements of cities for about 10 years or so. Urban metabolism for me is concerned, and I should have mentioned in a multidisciplinary career, I've actually worked in medical research. So I immediately think about metabolism actually from the biological definition. It's both the anatomy of cities, what's there, the structure, the infrastructure, and the needs, the inputs of all kinds of resources, not just the water and energy and physical resources, but human resources, information. You can think of that like the nerve system of cities, or however you analogize that, but also the physiology of cities. How does all this work together and cause the outputs, the impacts, or the benefits? For me, that's urban metabolism. I think cities have actually become more important in a global context, but I think anyway, cities are a vital place where a lot of decisions are made. It's where people are, it's where a lot of the consumption of the world happens. If you say, where is the infrastructure of the world? A lot of it's in cities, and increasingly of the world and the people in the world, the political relevance of cities has greatly heightened now that the majority of the world's population lives in cities. But they also happen to be politically the seat of many decisions, whether it's London, Washington, Paris, that is where decisions are made. So cities are important. Urban metabolism within that is important to bring awareness to the planning, the activity, the economics of cities. So it's this extra dimension of all the things I mentioned about the resources and the information that's a complement to the usual economic analysis and information that comes to making decisions about cities or about countries. I think right now there's okay, so this is from a scientist's point of view, that the challenges for the science is there is a nascent science of cities. We're slowly seeing the sort of information gathered that goes alongside the long-running traditions of urban planning and strategic visions in cities. And the challenge is to get the data and the know-how. This is from a technical point of view, to be able to match that, to come together with urban planning and strategies, and to have the science of cities and the urban metabolism of cities to be alongside that in a consistent, coherent body of work, or maybe not a theory, but I think the next step is to take that, to deliberately make that connection so that urban metabolism becomes part of planning for cities, becomes a consideration in infrastructure choices, and adds to the way we look at the long-term scenarios for cities. Cities are planned over, planners do think about the lifetime of the infrastructure, of buildings, and what these spaces, urban spaces, how they will be used. And we can come to that. The sort of next step is to think about how do you think with that all-round vision about all those things, the resources, the water, the energy, the system connections that often is missed. Often decision-making is siloed. And actually urban metabolism, because of that physiological point of view of looking about how all the things work together, that can bring that systems thinking to it. I also think there's a challenge for scientists from their intellectual, cultural background to engage more with social scientists, to recognize the different contexts of cities. Although there are universalities, there are certainly different cultural, geographical contexts for cities. And that moderates and mitigates what we know about urban metabolism in general.